You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? It's your boy, Al Mega. Welcome to the brand new Comic Crusaders Podcast. And today we got an amazing independent comic book creator. He's a writer. He been in it doing things, but he got a dope story through Source Point Press called Seis Cuerdas. What up, my alley? I mean, I need to know where homie got all this from. It's an amazing character, Mexicano. Fighting for Mexico. Great story. 3 issues long. You want this in your life, whether it's the graphic. I would get the 3 issues, for me. Each one signed, but the amazing creative team. But I got one hat with them right here. Let me introduce the one, the only, the very talented, Senor Anthony Rella.
All right. Wow, I feel like I'm stepping into the ring here.
Yeah, well, you get pumped up, yeah. Let's go, Anthony. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for creating such an amazing character, amazing story. I actually had access to this book a while back when it first came out, and I fell in love with it. Latino, I was like, ooh, this is fire. And the 70s, folks, this has this whole 70s vibe to it too. Yeah. The way it looks, panel work, art style, like the old Spanish comic book stuff. You guys weren't too privy to that unless you're Latino. But this is art style that's reminiscent to me of the Spanish comic books. They're really cool.
Awesome.
So, Anthony, origin story time, kiddo. I need to know, where is the superhero writer Rella from?
Where am I from? Well, I'm from outside of New York City. I grew up there. My comic book career started as a child when my mother would bring us to as a reward for going to church every Sunday. My mother would take us to the local candy store.
Oh, so mama puts you on. Ooh,
oh yeah,
nice.
Oh yeah.
She ain't stop you, huh?
No, she didn't stop me. It was Spider-Man off the rack was my initial thing, and then I had all the Mego superheroes growing up.
Do you remember what specific Spider-Man issue was it that caught your eye for the first time?
Oh man, I don't remember a lot specifically. Ones that come to mind was I had a buddy when I was younger, and he had a lot of comics. And I remember, I was young because I remember it was impressive that this kid could read the comic books. I remember, so he had a Spidey issue with Kazar.
Oh, okay.
Which is the guy like the jungle guy.
Yeah, yep.
So
Marvel's Tarzan, if you will.
Yeah. He had that. It was funny because I have my son's 7, and we were just watching Spectacular Spider-Man, I guess. Okay. It's a really great cartoon.
It is.
Or Ultimate Spider-Man, the one with Nick Fury and
they're all fun. Man,
and we just saw the episode that had Kazar on it. Now I guess it's the 3rd season, and Kazar's part of the team. But I did that, and then I had like all those action figures, which my mom used to string up with like stuff from the bakery. She would put strings all over, and I would play with them. So
dope,
that was it.
Man.
I was a
lifelong. You still have them? Tell me you still have them.
They're all in my parents' basement, along with everything else from my childhood.
But it's there. It's stored, folks. Collectors.
It's there.
Don't harass Anthony now. Leave him alone.
It's there. It's there.
What's the highlight of that collection?
The what?
What's the highlight of that collection, if you could remember?
Oh man, gee, I don't know. I've got all those, Spider-Mans and the Batmobile and all those original,
really?
all the Mego kind of figures I have.
Whoa, dude, that's so crazy. All right,
it's pretty cool.
You have no idea what you have in that basement.
I have no idea.
Hey, La Familia here that's listening. Oh, really, Al? Let me look this up on eBay. They're going to call you later. Anthony, your toys disappeared. I don't know what happened.
Someday I'll be supporting my comic book writing habit by selling off my toys.
Hey, it's what happened. So talk about growing up, man. How was school? Did you have a tribe that was like-minded? Or was it just mama and the family with you in the comic book?
I've never really gotten like a big group of like comic book buddies in my life. It's always been something that I've done, and I've had friends that were kind of in and out of it. I'm a drummer, and I was in.
Hey, check a man of many talents, folks. You see
That's right. If you look at I guess primarily I'm a Ringo Starr impersonator. So I do a lot of Beatles stuff. But I was in a band for a while called the Super Friends, and we all put on, we put on superhero costumes, and we played like 60s like surf music.
Who did you dress up as?
I was Superman.
All right, fine. Hey, no, I'm Superman. He called it immediately, right?
Superman. Well, it had to be the leader was Batman, and he was very adamant, DC only, and Superman fit the bill.
I got this, especially since they fought in that giant size. You have that?
Oh yeah.
Nice,
yeah, Superman versus Spider-Man. Yeah,
love it. All right, so no tribe growing up.
No real comic tribe. No, it's always sucks. Like. But and I still maybe after this you could be my friend, Al, because I'm always looking for like comic book friends. I don't really.
You are part of the Crusader family. It's a wrap. You're part of the Crusader family. It's what we do. We love this whole culture, and our writers and our artists and our letterers and even our flatterers. Our inkers. Bring them all, folks. We love you all, man. Thank you for doing what all of you do. Cool. It's an amazing skill and talent. I wish I could create a comic book. But instead, hey, I get the opportunity to talk to amazing people like you that are doing amazing books. So,
thank you.
Talk about stepping into the creative space then. When did you start taking it serious?
Well, what happened was I've always dug it, and my wife at some point as a birthday present, and this is pretty cool. As a birthday present, we met as actors, and
as actors. Wait a minute, you're an actor too. What? Yeah. Anything we've seen, Anthony?
No. unless you've seen the Buddy Holly story somewhere, around the country. That was primarily what I did. But
okay,
we met in a show, and. But I'm like a hack actor. I'm a musician, and then I'm directable. But I mean, she was like a real actor. She studied it, and we met in a show. And
I hear you, bro.
But she was so she's into like books and plays and things like, but not comic books. But obviously she wound up with me. And
elaborate. Definitely not comic books. Books, yes, but not comic books.
Not comic books.
It's funny. It ends in books, folks. It's just has art attached to it.
Yeah. But no, she didn't hate it. She just didn't know. But then at some point, for my birthday, she knew that I loved it, and we're in New York, and Dennis O'Neill, who passed away not too long ago. He was teaching a continuing education course on comic book writing. And but I was saying that she wasn't into it because she had no idea who Dennis O'Neill was. She was just like, this would be, this sounds cool. This guy did Batman, and so she.
God only knows, what a legend he was. Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. So she got me a course with him for my birthday, and it's pretty amazing to think you could pay a few. Yeah, you could. You could pay a few $100s and then go sit with Dennis O'Neill for 8 weeks, but that's what I did, and and that was pretty much how I started writing. I took that class with him, and then I got involved with a really great online community that's headed by Andy Schmidt called Comics Experience.
I know Comics Experience. Hell yeah, bro. Great people over there doing a lot of great stuff. And also, again, experience is further education and assistance. And you guys publishing those books. Yeah, bro. Comics Experience is great.
It's a great website. So, I did some mentoring with Andy, and I took his initial class. And actually, I'm a letterer too. And I learned,
I saw that as I was perusing on social media. I said, okay, what else Anthony done? I said, all right, so he's not just a writer, man. He's been dabbling in comics.
Oh yeah, well, I lettered Seis Cuerdas actually.
Hey, wow, wonderful job, kiddo. Salute to you.
All right, thanks.
Great job, bro. I love this book, bro.
But
people. Wait a minute. Let's finish up your creative journey. I know people want to hear about Seis Cuerdas.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
that you know
it's so
that
fire.
so that was it. So I started there, and I'm still a member of that community. It's really great because you can
Fantastic.
post your when you write a new script, you post it, and they have like people who work for them will critique it, and other members critique it.
Yeah.
So for a guy like me that's searching for comic book friends, it's great because I put my work up, and then people who are into it read it, and then
You're brave enough to
you
put
always
it
get
up.
you
Salute for
know,
that as well.
brave
Because
brave
again,
enough or stupid enough. So
hell no, bro. Because
yeah,
this is a monster. Did you introduce Seis Cuerdas in that way, to the community
yeah,
when it was
yeah.
coming about? Yes. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean the initial the book that it is now is very different from the initial draft that I had. The initial draft, which is actually probably would be the next thing I would do. Originally, the book focused largely on El Diablo, who's
Okay.
the villain.
The
So
very cool. I mean, but is he a
a lot about his
villain?
story.
Is he? He
Yeah,
was kinda. I mean, he has a source. He's like a Lex Luthor. Kind of ish, if you will. He'll do the right thing for a bit, but he's gonna be traders like Starscream.
I mean he is a cartel leader, so I guess
Yeah,
yeah. I
but
mean I'd
I
say he
want
is a
my
villain.
heroin. I love that shit. I was like, oh my god, bro, you're getting deep on this, yo, because you created an amazing cast here. But we're gonna get into that in a minute, bro.
Thank you.
So
Okay, cool.
so talk about first of all developing the idea. When did that happen?
So the idea, the seeds of the story were planted. Uh, my wife and I have two very good friends who are filmmakers, and they make like they make independent features. They write them, and then they get funding and produce them. And they were down in Mexico, Mexico City. They had filmed a film there called Mariachi Gringo.
Mariachi Gringo,
Yeah, and
epa.
it was about like this kid from Ohio, like middle America, who goes down to Mexico City, becomes a mariachi.
Well, a güero that becomes a mariachi guy. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, so we went down there. They had finished shooting it and they were editing it. And we have kids now. This was before we had kids, and we went down and we spent time with them. While they were editing, so we spent a good amount of time in Mexico City.
Okay.
And
is that where you got a lot of the taste of the culture? I mean, or
yeah,
what's your background? Are you Latino? I mean, with that last name, no,
I'm Italian.
Italian. Okay. What
I'm
about your
Italian.
lady?
Which one?
And your lady?
Oh, she's Irish.
Oh, bro, let me tell you, bro, you definitely picked up the spirit of Mexicano stuff here, bro.
Well, yeah, it was very carefully researched, because like as I've been working on the story, and I mean I think this is kind of like another topic after we talk about it. There was the issue about that I was writing about Mexico and creating a Mexican hero, but I'm not myself Mexican. So that's something we can talk about later.
You know what? What I could say is this: look at Brian Michael Bendis, right? Miles Morales,
Yeah.
right? I mean, Black Panther, Jack Kirby.
Yeah, but that was Miles is more recent, but Jack,
but what I'm
Panther
saying, it is here are people outside of the race helping to bring it forward, and I'm fine with that if you do it right, like you did here. In my opinion.
That's what I was saying is when I was doing it, when I was preparing the book, I was very as meticulous as I could be about making sure I got everything right. It was the different details about what was going on in his life and in Mexico City, with the Mexican drug war is very carefully
topics,
researched.
Bro. You got some serious topics, and again, you even land the curse words right. I mean, not that you have a lot of curse words, but with the one time that that homie curses, like, damn, bro, homie hit it on the money, right? The great movie, pendejo.
Yeah.
I hear it like that, pendejo. I love it, bro. You're awesome.
But
talk about.
I just thought it was just I got that was really when the idea was planted, and actually, the first time I created Seis Cuerdas, he was just known as Mariachi, and he was the final project for Denny O'Neill's class was to write a full script, and so I wrote comic books. I wrote a Spider-Man script about how, like, Peter Parker was like, he was kind of roped into a scheme where he went down to some crappy hotel in Mexico City, and then he wound up having to solve some problem there. But the way he solved it was Seis Cuerdas helped him.
Oh, word. Oh, cool.
And so Seis Cuerdas like debuted in this comic I wrote for Dennis O'Neill, which he liked. It was great. I have the email
really?
Nice. where he was telling me, like, professional job. I was like, oh, right.
Print that and put that on your wall, kiddo.
Yeah, so it was cool. But that was the first time actually that I after we were in Mexico with our friends that I first wrote about Seis Cuerdas, and then I was like, this guy should have his own book.
But how did you get that name, Seis Cuerdas?
Well, Seis Cuerdas, in English translate to six string, and so when I was like I said, originally he was just called Mariachi, but the publisher, when they were going to publish it, didn't like that, because there's like, it was too close to El Mariachi.
Oh yeah, I mean, gangster. I mean, but definitely far apart, but just as gangster for sure.
Yeah, so they were like, dude, you got to change the name. So I was trying to think of a name, and I'm just like, well, that's kind of a cool name. He plays guitar, and he beats people over the head with his guitar.
With a metal guitar. I know that you did it metal too. I mean, was that with that purpose? Like, and then his hat. I mean, it's like he's a Mexicano Captain America with that hat too, son.
Yeah, it was all kind. I like
so
like, one of the things I dig is like in like, I remember like the very first like Jason Bourne movie with Matt Damon. I thought it was there's like a scene when he's fighting, and he's just like picking up whatever's there. Like he grabs a magazine and he just starts pounding the guy with the magazine. And so like when I've got characters that I create, I always like the idea of them using things, that they would have, So with him, I was like, well, he's a mariachi, so he might as well have a metal guitar that he bashes people with.
Indestructible guitar.
Yeah, and so the thing with his sombrero, it was all going back to the idea that I wanted his costume and the things he uses to reflect his culture, and I wanted to be able to use those elements.
And you upgraded between the first two, so like homie changes a tad, if you will.
Yeah.
So talk about now getting that artist on the team to help you bring this to fruition.
Yeah. So Benito Gallego is he's an artist from Spain, and the way I found him is the wonders of the internet is I was at New York Comic Con, and he worked on a book called Apama, the Undiscovered Animal, and I met the author Ted Sikora of that book, and I spent a while talking to him, and I bought the book, and it's an independent comic. Ted is a very successful guy with his comics. He's got a series of them, but I had the graphic novel version of that, the trade, and like, as you were talking about, it's a very Benito style is a very kind of 70s-ish Marvel style. It harkens back, which is what I dig, because that's I kind of think about that kind of stuff from when I was younger, and I just, when I was trying to think, I'm like, well, and it's something as an independent writer, it's one of the biggest challenges, I think, when you write something is, to just try and figure out what's the art style that's going to go with it. Because, if you get the wrong artist, even if your story's great, it's going to kill it. So,
look how dope he looks, folks. There you go. This is from the first issue.
Yeah, he did a great. Yeah, Benito did a great job, and so I just got I just looked him up on the internet. I sent him an email, and I sent him the script, and he said, "I like this. I'll do it."
Well, it was as simple as that. That's simple. So your first try, one and done, and you're in.
Yeah, it was one and done.
So how was that process like now? You've gone through this, educational experience, and now, oh shit, I am actually working on getting something done. It's going to be out there. How do you feel about that? How did you process that?
Well, I had produced a couple things before,
Wonderful. Okay.
but just on my own. But like I had a comic that I wrote for like my own Beatles group does like a stage show, and I made a comic to like merchandise after the show. And so
Okay.
I put together a 22-page issue before,
Nice.
but not a mini series, and certainly not one that was published and distributed everywhere. So
Yeah.
we got the deal based on like 15-page, 10, it was like maybe 12 pages of art from the first issue and the full first issue script. And then, we just had to have synopses of what was going to happen in the next two issues.
Okay.
So, but, having the synopsis and having exactly what happens are two very different things. So you're right. It was a little bit of a no shit because they gave me the deal, and I was like, okay, great. And, now I got to write the next two issues and make this all come together. So, but, we did, and it worked out. And,
and why Source Point? Why Source Point?
Well, SourcePoint. So the way my deal worked was so I initially went through Andy on Comics Experience. He had a deal. He had a deal with SourcePoint, and so
amazing,
it was just kind of,
yeah,
they're great. I mean, they did. They've got a lot of like horror titles actually, and I think now they're kind of changing their brand a little to branch out into other stuff.
I saw them this weekend in the MegaCon. So they were boothing and pushing books everywhere, pimping.
Yeah, but the great thing about SourcePoint, the reason I was interested in this deal was, they go out to cons, they go to like over 50 cons a year, like crazy, and they push the book. So it's your book doesn't die, after a month on the shelves. It's they're always out there selling the books.
Yeah, they are. I am testify, like Adam says. Witness to that. I do see them hustling, and I've seen your book on the table. So
yes, I mean they're a great group of people. It was a little, I was at New York Comic Con with them, but it was with
what
COVID.
Year?
Just last year is when we were up with the book came out. Whatever, I think last May, June, and July. Yeah. So I was at New York Comic Con with them in October. I didn't do any before that because of the whole like COVID thing was still like kind of dicey, but hopefully we're kind of coming out of that a bit now. So
I hope so.
But so it was good to be able to get on board with them.
Fantastic. And then now you're saying you got the deal, first issue, you put 12 pages in, like, oh my God, now I got to finish the story. So how did you develop it? Because you said that it also changed a lot in the process, and why was your creative process like?
Well, what's interesting with this story is there's a lot of dark elements of the story in terms of it's dealing with it's dealing with elements of the Mexican drug war, which are not happy things. But for me as a writer, and as a reader too, a consumer and as a creator, I'm not really drawn so much to dark themes and materials. And I don't think it's really my strength in terms of writing. So initially when I was writing this, there was a lot of darkness to it. But most of my stories, I'm always looking for comic relief and a lot of like comedy in them. And a story like this, it's very difficult to weave those kind of elements into it. So at first when I was writing it, I'm just like, well, yeah, I think this is good, but God, I can't stand writing it. I was just like, it's really difficult for me to write. And so I think as I got into it, I just found ways to make Dante's, who's the identity of Seis Cuerdas. I found ways to make him more of a character that I like to write. So there's a lot of things like we kind of see like one of my favorite characters is Ash in the Evil Dead movies. So
I love Ash. Yeah.
He's like, you love him, but Ash is he's a total jackass. But it's those elements of and some of that I weaved through into Seis Cuerdas that he's kind of full of himself, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think he's more. I mean, he's a good guy. He's more likable as a person than I think Ash would be in real life. But I just found ways which hopefully work, to kind of weave in, that kind of like, like lightheartedness, kind of, not ha comedy, but like funny moments
Yeah, there's
into it.
moments. There's definitely moments, but there's
Yeah,
something special about him too. I
yeah.
mean, it's like apparently, I mean, people are gonna find this out, but he can't sleep. I mean, are we gonna get more story on that? Because apparently he rested at some point, but
Yeah.
as you'll see, guys, and why very interesting story.
Yeah, well,
Um,
I wanted to give him. I didn't, I even though I love superheroes, it's like when I write stuff, my characters are never really like super traditional superheroes. So
yeah,
I wanted to give him a superpower, but I didn't want, to kind of explain, how he got to be the way he is. But I didn't
which
want
makes
him.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, but I didn't want like, a tub of radioactive goo to fall on him or something. Like, I have another character in some other story that happens to. But
Oh, okay. Hey, Anthony
so
teasing you. Pull out the comic stripper pole right now because
um
he's stripping and
but
spoiling stuff over here.
yeah, but but I came up with the idea that you just alluded to. I was just like, well, what if his superpower is just that he never sleeps? So, and
And
that,
that's
and
crazy.
that comes from that idea that, if you had, I have no time of my own. So I'm just like saying, what if I had like those 8 hour, well, for me, that's a joke. What if I had those 5 to 6.5 hours every night, to be doing something productive? And,
Hey, good night. All right, no problem. I'm gonna get to work.
yeah, yeah. Well, which is what Dante's does. So, I think the combination of like trying to show that he was like a driven guy, um, who likes to have fun, obviously. But that was pretty much it. What would happen if somebody didn't have to sleep? And
So that's it. We're not gonna get more insight to that. Does it affect them in any way in the future? Do we have more Seis Cuerdas? Because you can't leave me this way. There's a lot of crime in Mexico, and he's only getting started.
I mean, there's plenty of other adventures for him to undertake. The issue was, um, you know, getting somebody to publish more Seis Cuerdas.
Come on, Source Point. Come on, Marvel, DC, Image, Boom. I mean, y'all need this in your life.
Yeah, so it's it's a big process for an
Even
independent.
Mad Cave, Latino.
Yeah,
Come on, bro. Let's get it done.
anybody. But it's a big
Anybody, come on.
it's a big process, for an independent creator to get their book, in shape. For a writer, if you're
Yeah.
if you're an artist, if you're an artist and a writer, you're ahead of the game. But the artists have to be paid for their time, and it takes a long time to create this stuff. And the way the industry works, with these with an independent publisher, is that you give them the book and then they distribute it for you. So
Okay.
so it's like, and then you make money on the back end. So you have to,
Yeah.
it's
Chump change, from what I understand. Chump change in your own creation.
yeah.
And,
So
and
but
that's not, and that's what's not right. Here you are putting your blood, sweat, and tears and passion into something, and just to get it out there. Well, I understand that's part of the hustle, but Jesus
yeah.
Christ, sometimes unfortunately, creators get, excuse the word, financially raped, on those opportunities. Well, but if you really want it out, you know,
Yeah, well, it's one of those things, right? It's like if somebody picks up, say, it's for a TV or film deal, then all of a
ooh.
sudden, I'm gonna, my next script, someone's gonna be paying me. I'm
What
not gonna be paying to have it done.
when
So it's
when
like,
are we gonna see this on Telemundo, bro?
I don't know.
I
I'm
because
working.
I Spanish language TV needs this. Not Spanish language TV only. But I know Estrella does. Bilingual.
Mhm.
So I think this would be something perfect for Estrella, a bilingual show like this on their network. Of a Mexicano superhero. What? This would be
Which
so fire.
which is the same thing. It's like, that goes back to like the genesis of the character. It's like shockingly there really aren't any, in American comics. There aren't, it's like what we're going back to, like the Super Friends, like El Dorado. You know what I mean?
El
Just
Dorado.
to find somebody, and not that there's,
Hey,
I like El
knows the
Dorado.
book.
I like El Dorado, but I'm just saying that there aren't many, in the times we're in now. It's like
We're
comics
villains.
Yeah.
Tarantula, that's one of the greatest Spider-Man villains, right? Mexicano.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But which again, with going back to the comic, that's something I wanted to be careful with. I didn't want to be perpetuating negative stereotypes of what's going on in Mexico. So
you handle this, I think, so well, Anthony. As a Latino, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Mexicano. But I could tell you, just going around my people, they're gonna love this.
All right,
it's so much fun. I mean, you respected it. What, Laura? Wepa, there we go. What's going on there? I mean, his love interest, and that was so funny. Even that. I mean, acting like a typical, Spanish student. Looking people in the eye at first, as you should. Which is really funny, cracked me up. So those moments you talk about where it just make you laugh. You're like, oh man. He's still just a regular dude, even though he could do all this.
Yeah.
Cool. And I dug that so much. So, what's in the immediate future for Seis, though, for real? Do you have anything up your sleeve, or is there anything up in general for the Rella-verse?
Oh, for Seis, I'm working with the trade has been delayed on it. Like it was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out in September, but I think Source Point just got the delivery of the trade paperback.
God. What is it, overseas, bro?
I don't know.
Man, coming over on boats took months, damn, bro.
Yeah, but I think they have it now. So I think Great. all you out there that have pre-ordered the trade, you should be getting it soon.
It's coming. Don't get mad at Anthony. It's coming. It's landed in America. Don't you worry.
It's coming. But I'm working on trying to work with different people to
wonderful
to push that for into other avenues of film, television. Obviously that's what people are always looking for, to try and make some money.
So what do you really want this to be? A cartoon, telenovela, like a la Berlanti, but the Rella-verse? What do we want here?
I think Seis would. I think it would be great as kind of as a feature. I think the initial story. But I think
bring it like Airwolf, right? That started with a movie and then broke out into a TV show.
Yeah, well,
do you remember Airwolf
with Stringfellow Hawk? Is that Airwolf?
Yeah,
I think. How's that? I think that was the name of the character. It was the helicopter.
Yes. Right, somebody was telling me, Blue Thunder could be Airwolf. Hell no. Remember the Roy Scheider movie?
Yeah,
Hell no, bro. Airwolf would bust Blue Thunder's ass. Son.
All right, everybody out there can Google.
I'm gonna Google these things.
I'm gonna have to Google that Stringfellow Hawk. If that was the name of the guy on Airwolf, that's gonna be really impressive.
For sure, bro.
I think that's what it was.
That, bro, then you must not smoke marijuana, bro. Let me not answer that question, Al, and let's move forward with that.
Well, I usually have like way longer hair, and so when people usually answer that question for me, regardless of what the truth is, regardless that's what they assume. But now I'm sporting my clean cut look now, so. But I think Seis would be great as like a Netflix kind of series too.
Give me that.
But what writer doesn't think that about their stuff? That's what you know.
No, but this is actually that good because it's fun and it's different. And then again, just that art style in the book alone, the panels. Because again, I'm a fan of multiple panels. A lot of verbiage. You see in story of villains with fire. Danielle is such an asshole.
Yeah.
I was so happy when Danielle, what happened there. Took the dick. Everything that was going on, and even your antagonist. Like I said, El Diablo. He is very Lex Lutherish in my opinion, because hey, listen, he'll do what he got to do for the community, but he just does things his own way. I love villains like that. Whenever you get action figures, bro.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things too. It's like, right, you can, and I'm very fortunate that, like I was talking about my wife, that that she, hasn't grown, that comics her comic experience comes from me, but she when she reads my stuff, she reads it from a different perspective, and so she'll look at it and she's like, oh, no, that's crap. You know what I mean? That's
they come with the honesty that you wouldn't get from critics.
Our joke is, she can spot everything that's wrong, but she has no idea how to fix it. But that comes like,
but that's I guess an asset nonetheless.
Yeah, but that's how it kind of. That was helpful in terms of the villains, because it's like, you don't want to create like he's evil,
a cheesy ass villain. You definitely gave them some context. You gave them value. You gave them story. I mean, the story of El Diablo, bro. I mean, wow. Okay, what he went through. I mean, you can understand why he's such an asshole.
Oh yeah, well, Daniel, right?
Daniel and El Diablo. Both El Diablo went through. He did some crazy shit that obviously altered his life in different ways.
Yeah. Well, actually that his actual backstory, which I think would probably be like, say issue 0, and like I said, that's what I initially had like kind of focus of the first issue. He's got a really cool backstory. But even with
get it done, Anthony. Stop teasing me like this. I need to know more about El Diablo.
All right, I know I'm gonna sell at least one issue. Although at this point, I mean, I'd have to give you the issue for free. It's like I couldn't charge you. You put me on your podcast.
Absolutely not. I always tell people, like, you give me a PDF, but when it comes to a print, tell me where I pay. Tell me where I pay, because you guys work very hard, and it's I don't like receiving this print copies really. I mean, my team, if you want to bless them, because a lot of them are so far away and a lot of them not even next to a local shop.
Yeah.
So, hey, being blessed is fine. But me, I'm blessed. I got local shops and I have the opportunity to talk to you. For me, I'm more than happy with just that. And don't worry, I'll buy the book. Don't you worry.
All right.
Because, you and Benito, wepa, y'all killing this book. Stop teasing me with the 0. You need to do this shit. Like right now, Anthony. Now.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta start writing.
Señorita Rella, por favor.
I'm ready.
Señorita Rella, you gotta tell him right now. Mrs. Rella, you gotta tell him right now to start getting it done. For real. All right. So in your journey, last point here. In the journey you've had thus far, and then I think, wow, I mean, you're not even Latino, but you've created such a wonderful character. You respected everything about the culture. Kudos on you for that. But what can you tell any up and coming creators as well, trying to step into the journey, based on your experience, any advice?
I pretty much, and I still do it. I bought every book I could about like creating comics, and I read it. And I'll still, and books about writing in general.
Any recommendations?
What's my favorite one?
Because I want to start learning. If I could get to your level, shit, I'd be so happy.
Andy Schmidt who I talked about, has a really nice book on it. There's a book by where is it? It's I'm losing it here. I see it on my bookshelf, but
he has a huge library, folks.
Peter David has a great book on comics writing.
Oh, word? Okay.
Yeah, and then I just read, actually. Look at this. I'm not joking, folks.
Oh,
I just read this.
The Writer's Journey. Ooh, how's
The Writer's Journey. This was good. This was really good. It's like I bought it. I like when I'm writing, I like to just read this stuff, regardless of whether I think I know it or not. It's like, you just kind of read somebody else talking about it, and then and I don't know it all. So, so
you found value in that book.
Oh, this was great. Like, this was a lot about, basically I was working on the new comic I'm working on. I was reading this, and this is kind of talking about like points you should hit in your books.
Okay.
And for me, it's kind of like I hit it intuitively. But it's great to like, know what you're doing actually and see, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to hit, these are different things that you should be considering. But, read everything, and then, it's consistency. I think if you can spend some time, writing a little bit every day, it's like practicing an instrument. You just kind of get in the groove, and it's, you can do it without doing it all the time, but it's much easier when you have it on your mind. But I mean, I think you just got to think about it. You need, and That's
There
basically,
you go.
you just got to
Get-
work on it. You just got to
Get
want
it
to do it.
done, folks. Learn the craft. Read. Learn. Get
Well, I
it
guess,
done.
I mean, I'll give Andy another plug. Go to Comics Experience. They, what's great about that is, no matter where you are, you can find their courses, and it's definitely good for writers. Like I said, you can put your stuff up there, and your fellow members, and then we'll read it, and so will the people who work for the company. So
there you
it's
go, folks.
definitely a good resource.
Comics Experience, check them out. They are definitely great. I've posted their stuff on the website prior when they want to help the community. Great people for sure. Anthony, you've been amazing. I love this book.
Thank you, man.
Go start working on Zero, please, because I need to know more about El Diablo.
I'm ready.
Yeah, get it done, because this is a great book, folks. Please, follow Anthony on Facebook at Anthony.Herrera, 2Ls.37. All right. And go visit his website. It's AnthonyAs, that's AS.com. Check it out. Visit SourcePoint Press as well. The website, you could get his book, Seis Cuerdas, SEIS, Cuerdas is CUERDAS. All right. 6 strings in Spanish. Go to Google, put 6 strings in Spanish, and there you go. Seis Cuerdas. All right.
Yeah.
You're going to get it done. Anthony, thank you. Benito, you rock. Thank you for creating such wonderful art. You guys make an amazing team. Flower Time, Anthony, thank you for being brave and bold. Put your stuff out there, share in your story, and especially in this fashion. I mean, you're sharing stories that even outside of your culture, but I think this is a wonderful job. So be very proud of yourself.
Thank you very
the
much.
hell out of it.
That's the best compliment.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you.
All
so
right,
God bless you on the journey. Folks, you know what to do. It's comiccrusaders.com, undercovercapes.com. Check out Outside the Panels, na Wepa, Cinema Crusaders, Rapid Spoilers, No Prize, The Friend of Crusade, and so many more shows that we got because we love this fandom and we love people like Anthony. So with that, I'm Omega. Hasta la próxima. Whip! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.